I was thinking, right? I was reverting back to my childhood days, and I remember how video games were. Thank you for tuning in, y'all. But I'm just gonna start off like this. I remember how video games were, and this is not something. This is not me talking about back in my day or trying to think too much in the past, but there are a few nuggets from the past that got me thinking about one word: love. And you say, why are you talking about love? Then you say on your Twitter that this is not a relationship podcast. Yes, I did say that. But back then, when I was a kid, we played the Nintendo 64. And the Nintendo 64 had a particular game called Star Fox 64. It had a game called Star Fox 64. Now, I remember me trying to beat this game, beating the game, and doing it again, time after time, never getting bored. These games had little nuggets, little gems that made it feel like there was a lot of love put into the game. Yeah, there wasn't good graphics, but back then at the time, the graphics were good. Back then at the time, the storylines were compelling. Back then at the time, it seemed like effort was put into those games. Now those games remain echoed throughout time and are solidified in the history of gaming because love was put into those games. Now you say 8. Are you gonna talk about love for this episode? In this new episode of Think Pieces and Conversations? Is love what you're gonna talk about? Possibly. But I'm also want to say that without the element of love, without the element of wanting to put forth the effort into something because you love it, it will have no long-standing longevity. It will not echo. It will not echo through the time in that genre, in that society, in the universe, because without love for anything, the creativity, the effort that you need for that particular thing to last throughout time will never see the light of day. It will never happen. It will never last through the years. It will never be etched through the history of time. Now let's talk about today's video games. If you are a gamer, you could possibly feel me on this. The games today, a lot of them are cookie cutter. A lot of them copy each other. A lot of them focus on finances. They don't focus on the love. They don't focus on the people. They just focus on microtransactions. They focus on there's no love in there no more. So a lot of games that come out nowadays, such as the Call of Duties. There's a current game I'm playing right now called Mortal Kombat 1. It's called Mortal Kombat 1. And this game Back then when I was playing Mortal Kombat, the MK3s, the Ultimate Mortal Kombats, even the Deceptions, they just had this feeling of a large amount of effort and love was put into these games. You would play these games for hours and hours and hours. You would beat these games time and time again and still want to play because you felt the love was in the game. It was hard to explain. You just felt that the creators just wanted to put so much effort because they loved every single frame. They loved every single color put into the game, every single number, math, every single code put into the game. They just loved it. They wanted to make sure it was fun. How can you possibly have fun with something if you don't love it? Think about that. If you don't love something, the element of fun, how could it ever appear? Literally, the energy being put into these video games, literally the energy being put into these houses. If you think about how houses are built now, if you go to a random neighborhood that just been built in 6-7 months to a year, these houses aren't built with the same structural fortitude as back then. When you go to those very old houses or super old houses, like maybe a 40-year-old house, even a 30-year-old house, you might could say a 30-year-old house. When you step into the kitchens of these houses, you can't even hear your footsteps because the floor is so solid and it was made with so much care. It was made with so much effort. It was made with so much love that these houses still stand tall today. Brick houses, houses worth millions of dollars today. They could withstand the strongest tornadoes and may even survive a hurricane. Have you ever been to these houses? Go and find you a house 40 years old right now. They feel different. In my current house right now, this house is about 8 years old. I could hear footsteps when somebody walks in the hallway. I could hear footsteps when somebody walks in the kitchen. I could hear. If somebody's in the next room, they could hear me podcasting, talking on this mic right now. This house was made with a cookie cutter build. There's probably another house in this very neighborhood that is structured almost exactly like this. Because instead of love being put into it, it's a mathematical equation. It's a formula. There's not really much creativity involved. The only effort being put in is, okay, this kitchen needs to be put like this. These cabinets need to be put like that. We're going to use the cheapest or mid-grade levels of wood. We're going to put this fireplace here. Just use the electric one over there. Just get that basic one. Oh, just get that basic granite. You get that? It's not a, look, we should do this. And when the person looks in the living room, we want them to see the, you know what I mean? And then when they sit at this angle, we want them to see. No. There wasn't love put into it. There was a lot of structure and formula put into it. When you go back to these movies, when you go to the old movies, the reason why the old movies are classics is because a lot of love, creativity, and effort from the love was transmuted into those movies. This is why Casino is a classic. This is why Titanic is a classic. This is why a lot of the old street movies, Paid in Full, Friday, Next Friday, Friday After Next, classic movies. Classic movies that'll forever be etched through time. Because the directors, the actors, the screenwriters, the writers, the producers, all loved the project and wanted to put that love into it. So the love that they put in was shown on screen. The love that you put in will be shown in whatever works that you're doing. Even if it's not received right away by the people that you want to receive it. The love etches that art through time. The love for anything is what maintains the longevity of it. Without the love, there is no longevity. Everything that is money driven and not love driven, not effort driven, not I actually want to do this driven, will have no longevity, will not be received well. The people will complain. They'll say, you guys don't care no more. Have you noticed that there's a lot of movies, a lot of video games? Shout out to the gamers out there. There's a lot of games nowadays, the Fortnites. When Fortnite came out, it was one of the first games that had microtransactions. But you could tell when the game first came out, there was an excessive amount of love that was made in the game. This is why how the game was made and the concept of the game was so creative, because these guys wanted to make this. They thought about it. They loved the concept. They wanted you to shoot and build. They wanted you to be able to block with your builds, to climb up with your builds. They made it happen, and now it's a worldwide phenomenon. Is Fortnite. It is a worldwide phenomenon. Other games after it, seen that. They didn't look at how creative the game was. They looked at it in a scientific manner. They try to look at high levels of creativity in a scientific manner. They said, okay, this is the game's concept. It's a battle royale. There's 100 people in the game. We can't use builds because that's a patent. They patented that, so we can't do that. So we could take the battle royale concept, put 100 people on. We want one winner. People are going crazy for one winner. The store, the game is free, but all the items and extra item skins you can buy in the store. We can take that. We can make a lot of money off that. How much can we charge? It's cool. Let's make these items as cool as possible. So a couple games after Fortnite, before Fortnite, which was PUBG, but we talking about Fortnite now. Fortnite is what made the free-to-play game so popular, which spread throughout many games. Not every game did the free-to-play thing. A lot of games did the microtransaction thing. Damn near every game you know right now, that's out right now, that's mildly popular to super popular, you have to buy extra skins if you want them. You have to buy extra characters if you want them. You have to buy extra anything if you want it. Companies saw that. All they thought about was the money. Yo, we need y'all to do this and charge this much. We need the game to come out at this time. The love for it started to dwindle. Thus, games would come out, have a high rate of selling in the beginning, and then they'll fall off. The customers don't feel the love for it no more, dog. You guys want the money. It's only focused on the money. It's not focused on being innovative. You only want to innovate if you love to not be the same as everybody else. You love the concept of your idea that you came up with in your head. Innovation is gone. All we got is the race to be the biggest company, the biggest financial, gaming, whatever, to have the most houses in the neighborhood. But nobody's in awe of what you created. Nobody wants to stay there. Nobody wants to keep playing. They don't feel the love. Without love, there is no longevity. This was another episode of Think Pieces and Conversations. I hope you guys enjoyed it. It wasn't too much background activity or background noises. Before you create something, before you want to do something, without that love, it will not remain etched in time. The people watching it, the people hearing it, the people feeling it, whether it's music, whether it's a painting that you created, whatever it is, it will not be etched in the history of time, because that intangible energy of love, effort, creativity will not be there. It will be something lifeless as the dollar. Adolf out.